Okay, guys, good morning. 1 second. Hey, green try. All right, it's 9:58, so let's give a couple more minutes for everybody else to join while we prepare. I want to make sure that you hear me. All right, let me see how many participants we have here. Okay. All right, I'm doing this via Zoom meeting. I was originally going to do this only for the agency as a company, but then I decided to open it up to everybody else, all my followers on Instagram. So I'm doing it on Zoom down here, my computer, and I'm doing it on Instagram live right now here. I see that already about 52 people have joined. Thanks for coming and joining. What's going on, guys? Hi. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just kind of go over what I'm supposed to be talking this morning. And at some point, I'm going to open it up for some Q&As through the Insta Live. And then I'm not sure if this Zoom will allow people to ask questions. I don't think that that's set up right now because of the amount of people that are joining. But through Instagram, I'll be able to answer some questions probably towards the second half of this, okay? So I wanted to start, by basically do a few series of this because obviously we've been now some of us more than other ones in weeks of lockdown for this new virus that has attacked the whole world. Basically, we've been in lockdown. Here is going to be on Saturday for us 3 weeks. The government just issued a new mandate that I think we need to stay another month in house. And I can tell you how important it is for us to follow that. The virus only goes with people. Everybody knows this. I don't want to talk too much about it, but I just want to kind of remind yourselves that it's really, really important that you stay at home, that keep the distance, and use this time for what I'm about to explain to you and what I've been doing, what works for me, what has been helping me to go through this time, because it's not easy, for people like me that we love people, we like to go out and we normally, in what we do, we see and exchange with a ton of people out in the world. We're driving around all over town as real estate agents. We're meeting people. We have a lot of interaction with people out there. And then when you are, not able to do that anymore, there's a big empty slot in your life that you need to fill up, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. How do you fill that slot and how you take advantage out of that and how you capitalize on these moments? So before we start, I just wanted to, maybe let's take a minute of silence, for all the people that have passed to a different life due to this virus, for all the people that have lost a loved one or a few, for all the doctors, nurses, and everybody that is helping right now, tirelessly, and in the hospitals, hours of work, exposed to this virus, just in a very selfish way, to help everybody that has been affected with this directly or indirectly. For the people that are out working in the supermarkets, also being exposed and wanting to provide, and everybody really that is involved here, that they have to go out there and work for the majority of us to be able to have food, shelter, and everything that we have the privilege to have overall. So if you just bear with me for a second, let's give a minute of silence for that out of respect, and then we'll continue and we'll start with the course, okay? So maybe close your eyes and say a prayer, or send light, send a good thoughts for all these people and families. All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right. So let's start with this. Okay. Um, let's talk about what are we doing with your time now? Talking about that space of time that we don't have anything to do. You know, I mean, we wake up and all our schedule has been changed. We have our kids at home for the ones that have kids, and we are not going to the gym for those that were used to going to the gym. So basically, we've been taken out of our normal life into something different. And you know, I gotta admit that for the first week, it was a combination of things. It was a little bit of a change where I didn't know what to do. I'm a very structured guy. As many of you know, my day starts at 4:30 in the morning. I wake up, and the first thing I do, which is super important, is do not look at your phones. You can't wake up and look at your phones. If you wake up and you look at your phone, you're already doomed because when you're looking at your phones and your brain at that, specifically between 4 and 5 in the morning, the brain is at a different, vibrating at a different wave where you are able to receive more messages from the infinite intelligence, God, or energy, or anything that you believe that bigger forces. So if you open your eyes and the first thing you do is look at your phone and you look at a text message, you look at a text and an email from a client or from a friend, or even worse, if you turn on the TV or you watch the news or anything, that's going to clutter your brain immediately. That's going to be the first thing that comes in that fresh brain in the morning. And I don't think that's what you want to do. So the first thing you do is you do not look at your phone, you do not look at anything, and I go straight into my meditation and prayer. After I do that, I go to the gym. I work out. Normally when I'm working out, I can either listen to some kind of music or that motivates me, or I do a lot of audiobooks. I'm going to give you some examples of great books to read right now towards the end, so you can take notes and you'll have a lot of fun with them. And then when I finish working out, I come back to my house, have breakfast with my kids, take my kids to school, be there with my wife, and then I go on my day. So by that time, which is 7 o'clock in the morning, I have accomplished a lot. And I have that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling that I feel good. And, exercise is one of the most important things to do. So one of the number one things to do that I recommend right now is to schedule an hour or 2 hours a day, depending on how your level of fitness is, to exercise. Because by exercising, you're gonna not only fill up a slot of your calendar right now that is for a lot of us, a lot emptier than normal, but you're gonna release a lot of hormones that help you through the day. You're gonna release the hormones of like serotonin, endorphins, and a lot of things. They're gonna help your mood. They're gonna make you feel better. They're gonna help you navigate to these times and elevate your energy also. When your energy is elevated, there is not disease, virus, bacteria that can live in your body because your immune system gets really, really strong. So the idea is to keep that way, right? Okay, so once you do that in the morning, then you start filling up your schedule, and you just got to schedule it. So you need to grab a piece of paper or grab your calendar or your Outlook calendar, like a normal day, like you are scheduling anything that you normally do, whether it is doing showings, sitting open houses, or whatever it is, and start filling up with things that you do. So we're gonna basically wake up whatever time you wake up. I have not been waking up at 4:30 in the morning for the first week, and I'm not waking up at that time now either because the gym's not open, cannot go anywhere, and I don't want to be scratching my head. So I push my schedule for these few weeks or months that we're going to be doing this to a little later. So you need to make some adjustments. This morning, for example, I woke up and I did my meditation, my prayer. Normally, one of the great things to do, and you might want to take note of this, is you write down 5 things that you're grateful for, right? So you write down those things. And what it does is when you're starting to write things that you're grateful for, it takes your attention from the things that you don't have or you want, or the things that you want to do right now that you cannot do, and gets you in the state of gratitude. And when you're in a state of gratitude, you start feeling better, more positive automatically. It's been proven, right? So then some of you saw, the ones that follow me on Instagram, I went on a run to the beach. I'm glad that people are respecting that. And I saw the beach a lot emptier than what it was a few weeks ago. I sneaked in and I took a nice hour run, and then I jumped in the ocean, which is one of the most amazing things to do. And one of the things that I was amazing this morning to see compared to other times that I'm going to the ocean is the amount of birds, all kinds of birds, pelicans, all kinds of birds that were in the ocean, which normally they're not there. You see a few that are flying in, flying out, but today, the amount of birds that are sitting there, the seagulls and the huge pelicans just standing in the ocean and swimming, and it seems like nature is so happy right now. If anything, I mean, I'm very happy and out of the positive effect that this force quarantine, that is not just one country's issue, it's a worldwide issue. It has forced everybody to go and stop, which I think that the universe and the environment has been needing to stop. I mean, think about us. We're almost like viruses. We're like eating, destroying, polluting, and doing all these things. And when you start getting into nature, you realize how quick nature recovers. It's beautiful, It was a good, beautiful feeling. So I couldn't help myself. I jumped in the cold water this morning and it felt amazing. And then I came back here and I'm here with you guys. So that's kind of I'm scheduling my days, and then what we're going to do. So let's think about two things, okay? I think one of the most important things to go over right now is to think about what's the situation. And we can get frustrated sometimes, but there's two kind of things. There's the things that we can control, and there are the things that we cannot control. So what can we control and what we cannot control? Let's start by what we cannot control so we can get rid of that, since we cannot control it anyway. The coronavirus. There's nothing we can do other than staying home and keeping the distance. The economy. Not much we can do as individuals. The stock market. I mean, all those things or what's going to happen, we really don't know. We don't have control. And therefore, I think that we should take the time that we spend, thinking about those things. I don't watch the news. I mean, my wife and I decided that about 10 years ago, no more, 12 years ago, when our first son was born, that we didn't want to be exposed to that amount of negativity on the news, and we stopped watching the news. And I got to tell you, I'm a lot happier. I think that in these times, you will be informed one way or another one. It's not like you're not going to watch the news and you don't know what's happening out there. I mean, there's different ways. I mean, you know people, social media and everything. You're going to know, and you're going to be informed for what you need to be informed. But you won't need to be inundated and depressed out of, how bad the news are. And they're really bad. So put that aside, and now let's start thinking about and structuring what can we control, okay? So what can we control? Let's start by thinking about things we can control. We can control our thoughts, right? We can control our mind. You can make a choice, and that's what makes us, humans, is to make a choice of what we want to think about. Let's see, I have my notes here. So you can control your mind. When you control your mind, means that you can control what you think, what your thoughts are. If you can control what you think and you choose, and when I talk about meditation, when I talk about visualization, those are tools that help you think and choose what you want to be thinking about. So if you can control your thoughts, then you can control your emotions. And you can control your emotions and the way you feel, then you're going to have a lot better time, not only in times through this, but in general, in life. If you have the ability to every day in the morning and at night, when you awake and when you are about to go to bed, and I'll explain to you the effect of why doing this before you go to bed is important with the subconscious mind, then you're going to have a lot better time, because you're going to be controlling on what time you're going to wake up today, what kind of book you're going to read, the exercise you're going to do. And then you can also go in visualization, which is an incredible tool. If you can just close your eyes and think about the life you want to live in 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, or whatever times that you set, what's going to happen is, hold on, I just want to push this a little bit because the sun is coming in. What's going to happen is you're going to start getting that energy out of the things that you have no control, and they make you, insecure, and they feed you fear, because really the biggest issue here right now is the fear. Everybody is in tremendous amount of fear of getting sick, or what's going to happen with the economy, what's going to happen with my job. All these thoughts are coming millions of millions a minute in your head, and we all are part of it. I've been for the last 3 weeks on a couple on occasions I fall into a little bit of that, but I have the ability through years of doing this to snap out of it and go back in my routine. And you need to have that discipline, because that's another thing that you have control over. It's your discipline. It's like when you schedule something, like Tony Robbins says, and all you know that I'm a big fan of him. If you don't schedule, it's not real. So that's why it's important, I think, right now to schedule everything you're doing. Schedule your workout, schedule the time you're going to eat with your family, schedule the time you're going to go on a walk, you're going to take your dogs on a walk, you're going to read a book. I mean, there's so many things we can do right now. I mean, we can take courses online, right? And now we have the time to take a course online on becoming better salespeople, on whatever your craft is, you know. You can learn a new language. I mean, technology, if anything, right now, compared to crises that we had before, you know, like any other virus crisis or anything in the past, we have the ability to get in the computer, and that's why we're doing this right now. I mean, how great is this that we can have a meeting and I can share with you my experience. For you, if you find something that out of this is beneficial, it will make me really happy, and that's why I'm doing it. If you can rescue just one thing out of this whole conversation we're going to have that's going to help you through this, it'll be amazing, right? Technology allows us to do that, and you can go and learn new language. You can read books, you can do audiobooks. There's so many amazing things that you can do, and then you know, you start filling up that schedule, and all of a sudden you're going to wake up tomorrow and be like, oh my God, I'm so busy today, and the time's going to go faster. You're going to feel better. You don't have time to think about all the bad stuff that is happening out there. And then when you realize we're going to be out of this one, and you're going to be out of this one stronger, more capable to deal with the stuff in the future, you're going to be more grateful. You know, it's really a time for us to take advantage, and we don't know when we will have the opportunity to have the time that we have right now with our family, with our loved ones, to appreciate really what's important in life. So let's do this. We talk about exercise, right? We all know that healthy body, healthy mind. Yeah, and it's been known, it's proven. We talk about the hormones and we talk about all that. You got to eat healthy, right? Now, I remember, and I laugh at myself because I have such a busy schedule normally that, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I could work out 2 times a day, because I do like exercising a lot. I'm a very active person. So I go and I said very often, I wish I had the time to work out in the morning or do cardio in the morning, and then the afternoon have a different workout, or do martial arts, which I do. And then, you know, plan my meals and eat in a more, you know, organized way, not just always in the rush. Well, guess what? I was thinking about this morning. It's like, I can do that. I can do that now. I mean, I can literally have the meals that I want at the times I want. I can wake up in the morning, go on a run. I can work out in the afternoon with some weights or whatever, right? So exercising is a key element of this. What we can take advantage of it, this too also is to really make an effort to think about what's important in life. Because I think what this is all about, you know, we all been now put in an even field where we cannot get out, we cannot do a bunch of other things. So now we all are kind of sort of in an even field. So why wouldn't take advantage of that and start thinking about what's important in life? What because I believe, and I want to believe, that after this, the world's going to be a better world. I want to believe that people are gonna learn how to appreciate. I mean, how much wouldn't you want to get together with 3 or 4 of your friends that for some reason you just don't get together as often as you would like to, or for some reason you guys don't get together as much as you want to, but now you cannot, you know, and they say human nature is like you want what you cannot have, and right now you want to get together with your friends and you just can't, right? To take a trip, take a short trip, you know. I mean, how easy it would be to take a drive up to Santa Barbara for us that we live in Los Angeles, for example, or to take a little drive just for the weekend, but we don't do it. So, you know, all those little things, if you start really think about it, are things that we want to appreciate more, and we're gonna be able to take advantage in the future. So let me see what else I can cover here. I think we've gone for most of the parts. And again, this is just the episode 1. It's the first time I'm doing 2 things at the same time. So I'm looking at trying to split the time between one camera and another one. I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not, but I know that everybody's listening to me. So that's awesome. So for those that they don't understand or don't know, or they haven't done meditation and they want to kind of get a little tip, there's 2 ways how to enter into meditation that has been easier for me. I know there is infinite amounts of ways how to do it, but you know, the idea is to take your focus and stop thinking on the things that those millions of thoughts that come per second, and some of them you are aware of them, some you're not aware of it. So if you can just order your body, because this is your body, this is your physical body, and then there's your soul and your mind, to sit down for X amount of time, to sit down for 5 minutes. You can start with 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And as you get comfortable, you start raising. There are guided meditations. There are apps like Calm, Headspace, or you can just, honestly, you just go in YouTube and put in there breathing exercises for meditation for beginners. And there is a ton of stuff out there. Again, technology is amazing. Breathing is great because if you can take your attention only in what you breathe and how you breathe, and there's different kinds of breathing, there's the deep, long breaths, and there's the fast, breathing exercises and all that, you realize that you stop thinking about everything else. And when you stop thinking about everything else, is really when you are more open and receptive to receive the message, to receive that information that you need for whatever it is that you need. I'm going to push this a little farther now. The sun's creeping up on me. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right. So that will be a good way to start meditating. Visualizing, one of the things that I always, I teach a class for the agents at the agency once a year in September. And we study a book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an amazing book. I read it probably 25 times now, and I obviously read it every year so I can go fresh into the class and we can talk about it. What's great about books is that books, especially like this, you can read it many times. And it's not because the book changes or something. The book is the book. It's the information that in the book is whether you're ready for that information or not. Like this year, you will read, and then something in chapter 4 is going to get you very interested and very excited. And then you're going to be like, wow, what a great message. And then the next year, you're going to go and you're going to find something in chapter 2. I'm like, oh, I didn't really get this the first time I was reading this book. And the idea is because you change. You change your way of thinking, you change your way of being, you change as a person, and all of a sudden you're getting messages that you didn't get before, and you're understanding things that you didn't understand before. So one of the things that I talk about in there, which is a very powerful tool, is visualization. Why is visualization very important? And I'm going to recommend you a book that is going to talk about this. There is a book, I'll actually tell you right now. There's a book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I mean, at this point, I'm just going to embrace the sun because I'm like literally about to sit on top of the table. Okay, let's do this. Now that I know what time the sun is hitting, well, adjust to the position for next week, for tomorrow, or next week, sorry. Okay, so the book by Dr. JoeDispenza is an incredible book. It talks about how your brain and your body is used to certain things, and you want to break that habit of being yourself, that you're doing it just by default. You're doing things, you don't know what you're doing, you're just doing things. You're getting upset about things, you're just habituated to those things. So this book is amazing because it makes you aware on, wow, I didn't realize that. And then you start learning how to undo that. So what I like about visualization is that instead of thinking about the bad things that are happening currently, or the bad things that happen to you, or how you didn't have the opportunity to go to that college that you want to, or why anything that happened in your life, and you think about that, and every time you think about that, those thoughts, remind you of those emotions. Remember, we talk about you can choose what you think, and what you think eventually is what makes your emotions. So if you think about experiences in your past that they haven't been pleasant, immediately you kind of get that feeling of how unpleasant it was. But if you can actually stop doing that and fill that slot with visualizing where would you like to be in the future, what your life will be in 5 years, or how would you like you to be? Think about the universe as a shopping center that you can just go and buy and choose experiences and things and material things or spiritual things or whatever. So if you can start focusing on, okay, in 5 years from now, one of the exercises I've been doing for the last 10, 11 years, and people that know me knows this, is what's going to be my birthday in 11 years when I turned 42 or whatever. Well, now is now it's 2 years away. So what is it going to be like? Where I'm going to be, who I'm going to be with, what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be eating. I'm going to be sitting on a beautiful big table with my closest loved ones, my family, my wife, my kids, my dear friends, my partners. But it's the amount of detail that you think about that is going to get those emotions activated and get you really excited. So if you can think about what you're going to be eating, what you're going to be drinking, what's the weather going to feel like, what are you wearing, how does it feel to be there? And the more you can live in that moment and visualize and literally enjoy and activate those emotions, your brain doesn't really know, your mind doesn't know, make the difference whether you're actually there or you're not there. So activating those feelings, what it does is get your body, you know, at a cell level to be prepared for that. And what happens is you start attracting that. And what happens is the universe starts presenting the opportunities that are going to get you to that. It starts introducing you to people that you didn't expect, and you meet someone, and that someone's going to introduce you to someone else, and that someone else is going to want to do a business with you, and that business is going to let you to do this and then that, and things start happening magically, you know. And when you see that that's happening, it's called the creative process. And when you experience that, you need to embrace it, and you need to acknowledge it, and you need to go for it. You know, it's that gut feeling of wanting to do things, of you know, feeling good about being attracted to something or someone, and just take advantage of it and go for it. And once you start living your life like that, it's not a one-time event, right? You need to habituate your life to that. And it's work. It's not, okay, I figured it out, I wanted that, and I have it now. I'm a master manifester, and I can manifest anything I want. Yeah, that's great, but you need to do it repeatedly. And I fall out all the time, and I get frustrated sometimes, and these tools, these books, these exercises, these seminars, you know, help me get back in track. There are a lot of tools. I mean, there are people, they've done it already. They've done the research, they wrote the books. Just for us, the information is there, so we need to take advantage of it. So once we do that, you're going to start feeling a lot better, I guarantee you. So let's just kind of recap a little bit. Exercising, eating healthy, sharing times with the loved ones, organizing our schedule, getting busy, force ourselves to be busy right now in these times, taking advantage of the things that we normally cannot do, learning a new language, audiobooks, reading books, online courses. I just started a new course with Tony Robbins, the RPM system. I started 2 nights ago. It's a 10-day course that teaches you how to organize yourself and everything. I'm enjoying it very much. So those are kind of like the majority of the things. I think I'm almost done. I'm going to give you a few examples of the book. Next week, we'll talk about more specific topics. Right now, I wanted to kind of have a broad idea or for you to understand what I wanted to cover. Let me see here. You know, it's all these things are really important. If we want to talk one more thing I wanted to say about the virus. Any virus, any bacteria, my dog's looking out of the window, sorry, distract me a little bit, my ADD. Virus, bacteria cannot exist in your body because your immune system is created to destroy and to fight these things. If you are in a state of fear, you know, humans, our sympathetic nervous system, what it does is when we are under stress, we either run, we hide, or we fight. So those, you know, that is being put in our bodies to survive, and through the evolution through the years, that's the way how we react to when we are in a lot of stress, when a lot of fear, or in situations like that. The problem is that you can't, it's like a car, for example, you can't keep pressing the gas pedal constantly at full, because your body has to recover, and your body needs to replenish itself, and your body needs to heal itself. But if you're constantly under stress, you're constantly in a fight or flight or hide kind of feeling, what you're doing is you're running down your system, you're running down your immune system, and that's when you get sick. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of you guys have experienced that when you're being stressed, when you're going through a lot of stress, out of sudden you get a cold. I mean, forget about the coronavirus. You just get a cold, you get a flu, you get something that forces you to go to bed so your body can recover. You know, your body says, you're not giving me a break, I'm gonna force you to get a break. So it's kind of the same thing right now. If you have the ability to don't stress as much, stay away from the fear, and do all these things that we just talked about, your immune system is going to be very strong, and it's going to protect you. So I think right now more than ever we should be practicing that to protect ourselves from this coronavirus, right? So I think that's for today. I think we've been talking now for close to 30 minutes, which was what I planned originally. I see that still have somewhere around 90 people in Instagram, and we have over 224, 23 in Zoom. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I hope you're enjoying this. What I want to do right now is I'm going to start opening to questions, and I'm going to randomly pick the questions that I feel are more relevant to what we're discussing right now. I love to respond to everybody, but I think I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So I'm going to pick one question out of Instagram, and then I'm going to pick one question out of Zoom, and I'm just going to read it. Okay, let's start with Instagram right now. No questions there right now yet. Let's go to the chat here in Zoom. Okay. Whoa, how do you stop this? Let's find a question here. Okay, any recommended audiobooks? Yes, I have a ton of them, but I'm gonna give you a few because sometimes when you have too much information, you end up not doing anything. So the two books that I like to recommend right now that are more adequate to the time would be the one that I just mentioned to you, is by Dr. JoeDispenza. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna post on my Instagram screenshots of my story of the books, so you can have them in there. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. It's an incredible book. Another book that I think is great that I just finished is called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. Incredible. I mean, talking about surrender right now is a time where we have to learn sometimes to surrender. Can't get out, can't do things. It's frustrating. I know you want to get out, but just surrender to what is happening right now, and you'll see how amazing things they're going to start happening and flowing. And a third book that I would recommend right now is The Power of Now. And I read that about 6 months ago. Eckhart Tolle, incredible book. All right, I see a bunch of questions now coming up here in Instagram. Okay, so how to deal with mental health during such a times. I mean, we just spoke about all that. I'm gonna do a little quick repetition. Exercise, eat healthy, fill up your schedule, meditation, visualization, all those are ways how to keep healthy in the mind. Let's do one from Zoom right now. Are you conducting business during this odd period of time? Yes. In the first 10 days, we weren't able to do it as real estate agents here in California. But as of this week, we fall under the essential business. So I started to show some houses, obviously taking the precautions. Houses that are either vacant or new construction are easier because no one is there. So you have the ability to go, your gloves, your mask, open the doors. You need to talk to the clients and, make sure that they are aware that they need to bring masks. I tell them not to touch anything. Everything's going to be open for them just to walk through the property. And then I give them the space, and then I close up the house and I leave. So yes, I'm conducting business. Obviously, it's not as busy as usual, but we're trying to work with what every day comes. Let's go back to Instagram now. Tommy Siva, I think that's in Instagram who's asking this question. Sorry I didn't mention the other people before. How do you think this will affect the economy and the world? Of course, it's going to affect. I think that it's gonna definitely affect. But if you really think about it, I mean, for the last 10 years, we've been in a very, very great up economy. And as you all know, economies are cycles, right? They all go up and down, up and down. And I think we were due to an economy that needed to turn around and go the other direction now. It's just, I think this coronavirus, it made it happen. It speed up the process. And now we are going to be entering in a low economy. So we need to take provisions and we need to be aware of it. But like in any down market, their best opportunities come up. So it's all about looking at the positive side and preparing yourself, get some savings in there, and find other ways how to counterattack that. Let's go here to Zoom. Mhm. Okay, this is a cool question. Philip Caruso, why you choose 42 as your birthday to visualize that special birthday? Okay, this is a very personal thing. I'm 40 right now. It's 2020. My birthday is February 22nd of 2020. And when I turn 42, because I know people celebrate big 30s, big 40s, big 50s, but something amazing is going to happen when I turn 42. Is going to be 222, so February 22nd, 222, 2022. So I thought that would be a really cool time to celebrate, and that's why I chose that. When I chose that number was when I was 30, 20, 28, I think. And since I was 28 until now, almost every night, I take the time to visualize what that birthday. I have a speech that I perfected. I have meals that I changed through the time because my taste has changed. Where I wanted to eat this before 6 years ago, now I switched to a different menu. And again, go back to the details. So that's why I chose that number, Philip. Let's go back to Instagram. Oh, wow. Stage My Home LA says we share the same birthday. That's awesome. All right. This is a cool question here, specifically more for real estate agents. Lois Man Real Estate, I want to say it is. She's asking, what are you saying to buyers to encourage them to commit now? I think that what I'm saying to my buyers is that the market is already turning into a buyer's market. So buyers that need a home and they have the ability to purchase a home right now can leverage on that and take advantage of negotiating a better deal with better terms right now because it is a buyer's market now. So that's what I'm telling them. Let's go back to Zoom here. Any more questions? And Mauricio's laughing out loud. I don't know what. What's up, Mo? Santi. All right, Tommy Jordan. To get started with visualization and the process of manifesting, what do you recommend starting out with? What book in particular? I have not read books about visualization. I started visualizing, and I think the thing that introduced me to that was the movie that came out many years ago called The Secret, where they explain very well how visualizing is and how it works and what it was about. That's how I learned it, and I connected immediately with that because if you actually do it right and you close your eyes and you start really thinking about where would you like to be and the things that you like and the things you want to eat and who you are with, and you transport yourself to that moment, you start smiling, and you're gonna know that you're doing it right when you need to be in a place that you're going to be uninterrupted. You're going to be quiet. It's going to be a little dark, and you're going to have time to do it. And once you start smiling, or you feel like a smile, or you feel like your emotions are activating, that's it. That's when you're doing it. That means that your brain thinks that you actually are there, and the longer you can stay in that state, the best. Let's go back to Instagram. How about? Okay, Will Stephen here in Instagram says, "What was the book that changed your life forever?" There are many books that changed me, and they continue to change me, and there are new books that continue to change the way I think of my life, and there are old books that I continue to reread. Like The Think and Grow Rich was a very important book in my life. The Secret was an amazing video. I remember when I was watching that, I had no idea of any of the concept of law of attraction, of positivity, of visualization, of any of that. And I remember watching The Secret, and my wife, her mom gave it to my wife, and my wife introduced me to this amazing video. Thank you, honey. And I remember she was working in a clothing manufacturer. She owned her clothing manufacturer, and I was starting doing real estate, and it was very tough and very frustrating to make a sale. So most of you know, I moved here. I didn't know people, so it was very frustrating. But when I stayed home one day in the morning, I had to go and work in the restaurant in the afternoon, and I was watching this, completely focused on this video, and I started to cry, and I was like, why is it that no one told me this before? I wish I would have known all these concepts when I was 18, 19, 17, 16, I don't know, you know. So it was a big eye-opener. Think and Grow Rich, the science of getting rich, and all these things sound like it's all about money, but it's not about money. It's about how you live your life, your lifestyle. You know, there's been amazing books that I read through time. Some of the ones that changed my life are the ones that I just read to you. There is one new book that I just started. It's called Becoming Supernatural, also by Dr. JoeDispenza, and that's a pretty life-changing book. Okay, let's go a few more questions here. Where when you wake up in the, okay, here's a question. Sarah Mohagiri. How are you, Sarah? When you wake up in the morning, first thing you do is meditate. How, where do you sit up? Do you lie down? Where do you do it? Okay, so this is important. It's got to be a quiet place. The reason why I like to do it first thing in the morning is because nobody's going to interrupt your thought. So you find a place in your house. In my case is my office. I have put a carpet on the floor. I have a pillow that I put under, you know, where I sit, because you got to be in an erect position. You got to be sitting with your spine erect, because that's how you meditate. You know, your head needs to be pointing in the sky, and then your spine needs to be erect. So all your chakras points all over you are going to be in alignment with the universe. So you're able to receive that information. So you cross your legs, or you can just sit in a chair. That works too, depending, you know, some people hurt, their backs hurt or whatever. Sitting in a regular chair with your feet barefoot, ideally, on the floor, and with your palms up, and sitting like this is the right position, or with your the famous lotus position, which is your crossed legs. That's where I do it. And sometimes it's easier to get into the meditation, sometimes it's not, and that's when you need to find some videos or things that help you, you know, like the breathing, the fast breathing. If you want to pick up some energy, you know, there's exercises you can do breathing that Tony Robbins talks about. If you go to YouTube and you put Tony Robbins prime exercise meditation in the morning, he's going to go through a very heavy, intense breathing. That one you might not want to do in the morning when everybody's sleeping, because you're going to wake everybody up, but it's a pretty cool one. It gets you a lot of energy. Let's go another question here from the Instagram people. Okay, I have a message from Payal Kawali. Sorry if I'm not spelling your names and last names properly. She says, I don't have my life figured out yet. I'm in my late 20s. Any advice? Well, first of all, I think you're very young still. I don't think that most people have their lives figured out. I think life is a journey that you figure it out as you go. One of the mistakes that I felt in my life before is trying to figure out my life. You know, trying to see, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and that's how I'm going to go. And when I'm 50, I'm going to be there. And, you know, you just kind of have this idea that you need to figure out your life right now. But I don't think that what life is not about figuring out your life right now, how it's going to be. I think you need to have goals. I need to things that you look up to, and where you want to be, to have direction. But you can't figure out your life right now, because life is a journey that's going to bring you a lot of surprises. And it's all about how to adapt yourself to those changes. And it's about how to learn from every experience and how to grow and become better. I hope that makes sense for you, Payal. Zoom question. Brandon Meneses, what other book do you recommend for wiring your brain? I mean, if you really want to get into the brain and into all that, Brandon Meneses, I would recommend really looking at all the JoeDispenza books. Are pretty intense brain books. That will be the right guy for you. I will eat all those books. It's 10:43, so let's go. Two more questions out of Instagram. Two more questions out of. Yes, my wife just made a comment on Instagram. Hey, honey, she said you can also meditate lying down, running, or walking. She's absolutely right. It's all preferential. There is walking meditations, there is running meditations, there is lying meditations. The lying meditations, I haven't been able to do just because as soon as I lie down, I pass out. So I end up not doing a meditation. But everybody's different. You need to find ways. And this is a good point that my wife's making here that I didn't think about. You all need to find what works for you. I mean, there is a ton of information and a ton of ways how to do everything, right, in life. But we're all different. We're all wired different. We all have preferences. We have different levels of energy. And I think it's all about to find out who you are, what you like, and work with that. Okay, Roger, the Alba Group, realtor. Roger, I think we met before. Anyway, Roger's asking, what are you doing differently to your marketing to get new clients since people are more hesitant during this pandemic? I mean, look, you need to get creative, okay? So marketing, I think, me personally, shouldn't stop. People continue to want to buy houses. They need to buy houses. They need to move. They need to sell. That's always going to be present in there. The amount of sales you're going to do in a good year compared to amounts of sales that you're going to do in years that we're in a low market is going to change, but that doesn't mean that you cannot do sales. So I always say, and I always done it, that the efforts on marketing should not go down when the market goes down. The opposite, you should put more efforts on marketing. I think the kind of things you need to put out there is let people know that you are active, that you're continuing to sell, give your clients the confidence that you're there to work for them, that you're waking up every morning. Although this is happening, you're on it. I think communication with the clients, communication is the most important thing, because they're sitting also at home doing nothing, and they're thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna sell my house this? I haven't heard from Santiago for 1 week. I wonder if he's doing anything. But if you calling your clients constantly and inform them what's happening, they're going to appreciate that, because a lot of times we are working and we're doing the work. We're like making calls, we're sending e-blasts, we're doing this. But if you don't communicate that your clients, there's no way they're going to know that you are actually doing something. And I think that's very important. It's very important to me to have empathy with those clients, that selling their home is something that is very important. And if they don't know what you're doing, they might think you're not doing anything. So I think communication is important. Marketing is important. As soon as we can get out and work again, I will say work harder. In 2008, 2009, I was sitting open houses Saturdays and Sundays instead of just Sundays. So that's the kind of thing that I do. I hope that answered your question. Let's see. Okay, this is an interesting question. Jimmy and Zoom says, what is the value of writing on paper versus electronically doing a gratitude list? I mean, I think it's probably the same. The action of typing or the action of writing is an action that is telling your brain something, So I think those two to me are pretty similar. Speaking out loud also of what you're grateful for is super important, because you hearing your voice of what you're grateful for has also very important meaning to your brain. Last question of Instagram. Let's see here. Okay, this is a good one. Brian Bonifaci, how was the transition from a busboy to agent? It was more, my transition was more busboy, waiter, real estate agent. So I'm gonna kind of adopt the waiter to real estate agent. The transition was a little slow. Again, my situation was a little different. That I think everybody else's have their own situation. I did not know anyone in LA. When I moved to LA and I was waiting tables, I really did not have college classmates, friends, relatives, or anything. So it took a little longer. I waited tables from the moment I got, to LA. I was doing real estate and waiting tables for about 4.5 years. So the transition was a little slow. I see now the benefit of waiting tables. When I look back, it's still a people's business. Getting to a table, introducing yourself, seeing people, see different kinds of people, how they react, how they talk to you, polite people, unpolite people, aggressive people, very introverts. It was an amazing training to learn how to deal with people now in the real estate business. So that's how my transition was. When I got to a point where I felt like I was doing enough sales where I didn't need to have the income from the restaurant is when I decided to drop the restaurant business. And perhaps in the next few episodes, I'm going to talk to you about how that was. It was very interesting. As soon as I started doing well, I dropped it. And then 2008 came and punched me in the face, and I hesitated, and I was about to go back into the restaurant business. And then, that's when I think I got introduced to my real self that got me to get where I am right now. And we'll talk about that another occasion. Last question on Zoom, and then we'll wrap this up. All right, so Daniel Ness. Wow, Danny. Daniel is a very old good friend from Bolivia. He lives in Houston, Texas for many years. He's got a baby and a beautiful wife there. I haven't seen him probably in 15, 16, maybe more years, but we stay connected. He's asking how you overcome negativity and naysayers. So, it's a choice. I think it's a choice to overcome naysayers. I mean, at a point in time in my life, I stopped hanging out with naysayers. It is sad, but sometimes when you're around people, they're negative, and when you're around people that bring you down, you might not want to be around those people. I mean, you can try to, change them. You can try to get them to a different place, but some people that just can't do it. And I think you need to make a choice on who you want to be. You become the average of the five people you hang out with. So you want to surround yourself with great people, I think, and that helps. So that's how I do it. I do everything that we just discussed today. I read the exercises and all that. But I think it's a choice, it's a choice to overcome the naysayers. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, and if someone thinks that things are that bad, well, then let them have that opinion and live that way. I'm going to make a choice to look at it a different way. So with that, I think it's a wrap, guys. Thanks for hanging in here. It's been 51 minutes. I enjoyed it very much. I'm getting a tan. I didn't plan the sun to be hitting so hard here, but I wish you have an amazing day today. I hope you can grab just one thing, like in any course, in any seminar, in anything that you do. It's not about going and learning the whole seminar, the whole thing. If you can just grab one of the books I gave you and you like, and that serves your life, that makes me happy. If you can just apply one of the things that we discussed, if this is going to motivate you to go on a run today, if this is going to motivate you to spend more time with your family, whatever it is, I thank you. I appreciate you. Have an amazing day. We're going to come out of this one stronger, happier. Enjoy your day, and I'll post later the books, and I'll post later when the next episode, the next meeting will be. Have an awesome day. See you guys soon.